Hi guys, Dr. Jake here, and today is another brain-body connection. And this I'm going to talk about kind of new baselines for yourself. And I do this all the time with my athletes. If I'm rehabbing an athlete, let's say if they have a major injury, their first injury, getting them back onto the field and rehabbing the injury is relatively easy, but getting them out of their head to make sure that they're able to perform without any compensation from that injury is a little more complicated because they might be hesitant on certain movements. And so, creating game time situations, decision making, to where they're able to do the movements and realize that they're not going to have discomfort or feel stable or they feel okay going at full speed, then that's going to change their mindset. And for that to happen, the brain really has to be involved. And so you have to hone into those small wins and be able to make that connection because eventually the brain will dump that and say, you know what, that injury was there, but I could do all these movements. Gang ho, let's do it. And so that happens the same thing in real life. And so we've all known someone, or maybe even been there before, where you've had a chronic issue or an issue that's held you back, and say, well, that's just me getting older, that's old age, or it's been there forever, it's never getting better. Whether that's lack of sleep because of stress, brain fog, all these things we might accept. And then some people, or most people, or you maybe, have had that aha moment through your chiropractic journey where you've done something that normally would be painful or awkward or something that you've been avoiding. And you get through it without thinking, and all of a sudden you say, wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. And that's what I really want for all you guys. And what happens with that is you create a new baseline. A new baseline is so important because now it's not, oh my gosh, I can't do this. It's, okay, I never want to get back to where I was. And that should be an aha moment, is I never want to backtrack. I know a big thing that I see all the time in the clinics is headaches. Okay, so that's the groundwork. I've had headaches for years. It's been debilitating migraines. And then after a few adjustments, whether it's a few or a month or even a year, where you don't have headaches anymore, they're not that bad. Well, guess what? You want to protect that moment to never go backwards. Okay, that's your new baseline, and that should be with just about anything as far as your health. If you get to a next level where you say this is how I want to feel, then you have to figure out how to stay there, and whether that's a frequency in your adjustments, or a healthy lifestyle, diet, exercise. Create those routines where you know this is what I need to do to maintain and develop those habits. Um, when you finish up your care plans, most people do maintain the success, and so you pick your frequency. Well, guess what? If that frequency is starting to bring back some of the old baselines that you don't want to go back to, then it might be advantageous to increase your frequency and maintain that until you could solidify that. We have a saying that it's not how often you get adjusted, it's how long it holds for. And like I said in the last video before, we all go through different seasons. And so that might change from certain months to others. But creating that new baseline and making sure that the brain recognizes that and says, this is where I need to be. And then string along a few good days because it makes it a habit. Now you have a new minimal standard for where you're at. And you reassess every year to see what you have to do because it becomes harder to maintain where you're at each year as you get older. And so if you do that, then you no longer can say, oh, it's just old age. It's, oh, I am not doing the things I need to do to keep minimal standards. And creating new baselines is so good at that. So what's your next goal? What's your next baseline? Share that with us so we can help you and let's set up a game plan for you. Guys, I love you. See you in the clinic.